When entering the app, always click on the orange Top Recommended tab. The primary focus of the app is the top 5 recommended players, which displays 5 players the software is recommending for your upcoming pick. These are based on projected fantasy points for available players, your roster needs and requirements, players you've already drafted, your draft position, league size, as well as average draft position based on completed drafts. This section provides summary stats to help you easily compare the recommended players, including their projected fantasy points, value base, average draft position, and positional rank, along with the player's bye week. You will find the main player pool below, and rankings are customized to your scoring rules and colored by position. Each player tile displays the player's average draft position, positional rank, team and bye week, projected fantasy points based on the scoring for your particular league, and the player's value base. If one wishes to compare the stats and projections for the various positions, you may select one of the spreadsheet positional tabs. Here you can compare the actual projection totals and stats for each player. Select the All Players tab to bring up the player pool. Click View on any player tile to bring up the details view for that player. You will see the player projections for this season, as well as the totals for his past 2 seasons. One can research player news by clicking Web Links and selecting any site. This will open a new tab taking you directly to that site's player page. Simply close the tab and you are back in the Draft Analyzer. When preparing for one's draft, you can also choose to target any player. You can also do so in any round one wishes. That player will then come up as a recommendation in the appropriate round. You can choose to select him or the app's recommendation. One can also avoid any player. This way they will never come up as a recommendation. If you wish not to affect the app recommendations but want to track certain players, one can also add them to the watch list. Directly below your top 5 recommended players, your optimized roster is displayed. The app looks throughout the entirety of your draft, calculating the highest projected scoring team possible, according to your league's particular sets of rules. This will update as your draft goes on according to who has or has not been drafted. As with the main player pool, the player tiles are colored by position and contain the round number for that player to be selected in, the overall pick number, the player's average draft position, and projected fantasy points according to your scoring. Once a player has been drafted for the slot, a check will appear in that tile. One can also view their optimized team and roster under the Optimized Team tab. During your draft, you can also select the Starters or Bench tabs. Your watch list and both your targeted and avoided list can be seen here as well. Click By Draft Picks to return to the default view. Directly below these tabs, you'll see the draft trends. This displays the highest value base for each of the various positions for you to easily compare. To test the Draft Analyzer software and prepare for your draft, you can quickly and easily run mock drafts, and depending on the package, can even live sync with ESPN live mock draft rooms. Select Mock Draft and choose Start Mock Draft from the drop-down. The app will make selections for each of the other various teams based upon remaining roster needs and average draft position. As the draft progresses, these players will be slotted along the top draft bar. When you are on the clock, a pop-up appears letting you know that has the top 5 recommendations along with your current roster of drafted players. One can choose to draft any of the players by clicking the Draft tab, or close out the pop-up to view your various other options. Once you draft a player, the app will automatically continue on to your next selection. When finished, select Mock Draft and remove all picks. You are now ready to draft or mock again. Come draft day, to manually enter picks, click Draft on any player tile and that player will automatically be entered to whoever is on the clock at that time. All rosters will be updated along with all analytics and optimized rosters. If your league is on one of our many affiliate sites such as Yahoo, ESPN, My Fantasy League, or RT Sports, you can import all of your league settings and even live sync with your league's draft rooms. Once your draft room launches, you will turn on Draft Sync. The app will update and import picks every 10 seconds as they occur in the site's draft room. You will still make your actual selection in the site draft room and not in the app. One can track team needs and rosters under the Fantasy Rosters tab. One can also check the various NFL rosters and depth charts under the NFL Rosters tab. The Draft Grid tab is a draft board style page. If you make a mistake during the course of your draft, click on any player where the error occurred either in the draft board or on the Draft Grid tab. A pop-up will appear asking you if you want to rewind the draft to this point. Click Yes and all those players will be removed and you can then re-enter the correct order. The Draft Analyzer includes many features for the more experienced players as well, such as the Draft Plan tab. Here, one can cater the draft more to one's own personal liking by targeting or untargeting specific positions during the draft for any given round. If you do not want the app to recommend a TE until the 10th round, or not to recommend a quarterback until the 7th round, uncheck those positional tabs down to those rounds, and those positions will not be recommended until then. One can also select the General Managers tab. Depending on the package, you can add or subtract weight to the various projection sources by selecting Custom and then Edit. We recommend only adjusting the sources after thoroughly testing them individually. Under Draft Strategy, one can choose Optimize Core Starters or Optimize your entire team, or even a custom blend to add weight to the various positions. The default Optimize Core Starters will draft the main position starters before taking any bench selections. This obviously does not include kickers and defense. Hide or show stretch picks. With the default hide stretch picks, the app also takes average draft position into account when making its recommendations for players. This way, it will not target players too early. Show stretch picks, the app will recommend purely based on the projections. We recommend using the default of hide stretch picks for best results. One can also help the recommendations by selecting an appropriate ADP source. We offer a wide variety and keep them updated often. When your draft is complete, you can compare the results of your draft in the Standings tab. Your starters' points totals compared to the rest of the league, as well as your bench and overall compared to the rest of the teams in your league as well. We have many more detailed tutorials on most every aspect of what we have discussed here placed throughout the app, as well as under the Announcements tab found on your Draft Analyzer homepage. If you have any further questions or need further assistance in any way, please contact support at support@draftanalyzer.com.